Hello and welcome back to Inside Value with me, Siam Dingi. It's wonderful to have you back. In today's episode, we'll be getting into the next sector of the value mapping framework, which is the business strategy sector. The business strategy sector is the second sector in the framework overall, and is also the second of the two sectors that fall into the internal value mapping half of the framework. If you've listened to or watched previous episodes, you'll already have downloaded a copy of the framework from the show notes, but in case you haven't, I've also added it to this episode's show notes as well. Despite the name of the sector being business strategy, this sector still very much applies to nonprofit organizations or enterprises that don't neatly fall into the definition of being a business. This sector is called business strategy because it engages with the strategies that keep your enterprise in business. In this sector, you are looking into your businesses or nonprofit organizations' business and operational strategies and seeing how they do or do not support the value proposition and, by extension, the value that your enterprise delivers. And naturally, of course, searching for value opportunities that arise from those strategies you have in place. So, as the briefest overview of what business strategy is, it is basically the whole set of planned activities that an enterprise undertakes to create value for itself and its stakeholders to gain a competitive advantage in the market. Those planned activities vary widely in what you're doing, where, when, and why, and with whom, with the objective of giving your enterprise a leg up in the market. Now, in general, strategy is understood to be long-term in nature, and here we're talking months to years, to even decades in some cases. But you can still have approaches to day-to-day work also be referred to as strategy, despite it being relatively short-term in nature. It still fits the definition of planned activities we do to create value and gain a leg up in the market. One of the things that is well known is that business strategy exists on different levels within enterprises. There is corporate strategy, which is the highest level of strategy, which overarches and applies to all the parts of the enterprise. This one has the longest timeline and describes what the enterprise wants to achieve over years or decades. The next level down is the business unit strategy. This is where the individual departments play. The finance team will have a plan for a specific period, the sales department and the marketing department, and so on. This level tends to have the most mid-range timeline, with strategic plans here lasting about a year or two, or a couple of quarters. And lastly, we have functional strategy, and at this level, we've got those approaches to day-to-day work, and the level with the shortest timelines. An important thing to remember, and the reason that I broke them down bit by bit, is that those levels and all of the people within it and the units within it do not operate separately from each other. They intermesh and they overlap. Corporate strategy will filter into what your business unit strategy becomes. Corporate strategy may be reworked, informed by what is happening at the lower levels of strategy. Functional strategy only exists because business unit strategy is its mom, and at the same time, business unit strategy is shifted if functional strategy makes it apparent that a shift is needed. In fact, enterprises that work really well have internalized this notion that strategy with all of its levels and participants is not a static, unchangeable thing, but rather it's a working document that can have changes applied to it as the situation demands. In my work, which is value creation, I take that notion a half a step further. I visualize all of those strategies as an interconnected network that I call an enterprise's business strategy ecosystem. And what that is the aggregation or collection of all these business and operational strategies that are currently active in an operation. From the business strategy to the departmental strategy to the daily strategies and workflows that are at work within an enterprise. The business strategy ecosystem exists as an interconnected network. None of the strategies within the network operate in isolation, even if they appear to be. So, how does any of this interface with value creation and value innovation? Per the very definition, planned activities that create value, business strategy is inseparable from value creation. Business strategy informs what the enterprise ends up doing, And so naturally, it's going to cross paths with value creation and value innovation. It's very much right there. Then how do we use the business strategy sector of the framework? Firstly, the value innovation methodology and framework leverages off the definition and intermeshing nature of strategy in action. Basically, number one, if we know that value is generated off of what we do in the different places that we do it, and our strategy informs all of what we do and where we do it, then we need to look at our strategy from a strictly value-centric point of view. And importantly, number two, if we know that the strategies that are active in this enterprise are happening all at once, all together, and interplay with each other, then we have to look at how that interplay impacts how we create value. So when we're looking for value opportunities within the business strategy sector, we're uncovering value inherent to or connected to the existing and any incoming business strategy. We're identifying how our business strategy ecosystem supports the value that we deliver and whether those strategies need to be amended or new ones created to deliver the strongest value offering. We ask, does the way that we do things really serve our value proposition? We also ask, do our strategies at every level actually work harmoniously with each other, or do they counteract each other in a way that disrupts our value offering? And that summarizes what you need to know about the business strategy sector in the value mapping framework. That was pretty quick. That was pretty easy. We've covered what business strategy even is, why it's important, and how it factors in and works within the value strategy framework. And that does it for this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Inside Value on your preferred podcast platform. Be sure to follow Vive Consulting on LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube, and visit our website, vive.co.za, that is vivre.co.za, for more insights on value creation, value innovation, and value strategy. This has been Inside Value with me, Siam Dingi. See you on the next one.